in this video, I have a saying about giving a rat's ass that's kind of funny. That how can you give a rat's ass? The ass of the rat isn't yours to give, so let the rat keep his ass. Or you can pick up a rat and hand him to somebody else's ass first, and yes, you're giving a rat's ass. And if the other person wants to accept the rat ass first, to give a rat's ass, you're sort of offering up the rat's ass, and it's up to the other person if he wants to accept. So I'll have another saying too, that in some certain things, that if a rat's ass should really be offered or even given about a particular subject. So that's what I say about tolerance to a certain thing. You can say sometimes you give a shit. There's some and I also have a thing where I say there's certain aspects of giving a shit or giving a fuck. It's not that I don't give a shit or give a fuck. It's there's some aspects of giving a shit or giving a fuck that I don't give a shit or a fuck about. And at any given time, when and where should a rat's ass be given, or a fuck be given, or a shit be given, or even offered? You know what I mean? Oh yeah, everybody's racist except for me and my buddies that I get drunk or stoned or high with, and I also hang around with and surround myself with pseudo badasses. So I know it all. Everybody is racist, but me and my drinking buddies, and everybody is racist, but me and my stoner buddies, and everybody is yeah, Mister. This is Mister. Everybody's racist except me, and I think I'm badass because I surround myself with badasses or pseudo badasses, or I think I'm everybody's racist but me and my stoner buddies, and I think I'm badass because I surround myself with loser bar badasses that are pseudo badasses that hang in loser bars. Alright, what's up, yins guys? Time for another video. This is one of the videos that on subject matter I talk about. I write a lot about it because it's easier to write long-winded paragraphs about it, to organize the thoughts, and it's easier to write about it because when you go to talk about it, you almost find yourself having to start videos all over or do videos in chunks or blocks and then splice them together because you almost mess up the video by start laughing because the shit is so funny. And matter of fact, the people you talk about are so funny, they think they're badass, and just the idea when you talk about them, you're laughing about them. You're laughing about them and laughing at them. People think it's like, they think everybody's supposed to be scared of them, but actually people are laughing at them or just looking straight ahead. But keep in mind when I talk about this too, that some of the people I talk about, they're listening to their boom, 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 like rap music, the yuppie kids, like some of them that are in the town I'm in now, driving their still in high school or barely out of high school, driving their parents' fancy cars or trucks. The ones that are just being hipsters, some of them, different financial groups. Some of them are just teenagers being teenagers, right? You know, too, just being hipsters, and they outgrow that stuff. And at the same time, some of them, the friendlier ones, will sort of listen to you when you talk about the history of music black people originally started, the old R&B, old funk, and all that. Like Henry Rollins once said, real R&B, real soul, and stuff that, or they'd look at you with their eyes glazed over if you talk about Dick Clark and Alan Freed. Alan Freed, the guy that once should have been in Dick Clark's place and all that stuff, where black music actually came. If you talk about music, you know what I mean. But then anyway, other than that, I talk about these other ones that you don't even look at when you drive by. It's like you don't want to look like you're either mortified, nor offended, nor impressed, or these kind of ones, like unlike the hipsters, right? You got the pseudo-gangster, the white leftist pseudo-gangster, and the white leftist pseudo-gangster beta male. And I'm kind of giving you a basic rundown of the basic pseudo hierarchy, if you will. Like you got all the people trying to be gangster on the news. You can almost argue that they're not really gangster compared to what's in the cities, and they wind up in prison stuff all over the TV news that people glorify. And where do you really end up? Kids like later on playing their game, and they're just living over their parents. They're still 20s pushing 30, living in a room in their parents' house. But anyway, yeah, the pseudo gangster is usually the white kids driving around different t-shirts and shorts, acting, dressing like they're perpetually 10 years old, but yet trying to walk around like they're tough and drive by in cars. And usually 20s pushing 30s, their girlfriends are like 14, 15 years old and still in high school, and some of them are the ones with the lesser self-esteem, thinking they got a badass boyfriend or whatever, not listening to their parents, and school calling their parents and wonder why they ain't in school. And they're also known to be furnish when they're old enough to drink, be furnishing liquor to underage people, whether it's their underage girlfriends or their other underage pseudo gangster beta male friends. But anyway, the difference between the pseudo gangster and the pseudo gangster beta male is the pseudo gangster is kind of up here, and then the pseudo gangster beta male was down here. You know what I'm saying? But the pseudo gangster is almost just like the guy that not picking on anybody because they're of their race or because of their color, but that their first choice in people of any other color to hang with is not maybe the halfway decent, gainfully employed black gentleman that maybe I may have worked in factories next to. Swear a little bit, some of them smoke, listen to a little rap music, but a lot of times they old R&B or whatever. Decent, no, decent even though they swear. No, their first choice to hang with is the ones out of, not picking on anybody because of their color, but the ones that are barely out of high school and already got a mile-long rap sheet for stupid shit. Hang around the loser bars with them as soon as they get old enough to drink. And a pseudo-gangster, my point is, they pretend to be anybody that's above them, that they're the ones that they're licking the boots at the time, following these people around like little bitches or whatever the hell, right? And the ones that they're following around like that they pick, they want you to think that they're a higher level gangster. The pseudo gangster is always wants to have you believing that their friends up here are something heavy duty, some kind of people that they pick in the loser bar somewhere, and they go out and drink, and they want you to believe that their friends are some kind of gang. It's actually just a pseudo gang, but occasionally, depending on where you live, one or two, if you fracture their ego and you expose who they really are and mock them or laugh if too aggressively at them, that you could get shot, or a bunch of their buddies beat you up, and too much verbal conflict or some kind of a thing, you'll get gaslighted as some kind of racist or something conveniently by them. But anyway, the pseudo gangster thinks he's gangster because of all the people he chooses to hang around with, and always the 14, 15-year-old rebellious girlfriends, some of them that got mad at their mother because they're trying to have some kind of house rules and move with their grandmother that spoils them or something, and they sneak and be drinking in the basement. But then, okay, like I said, the pseudo-gangster, that's a pseudo-gangster. Then the pseudo-gangster beta male, the difference between the pseudo-gangster beta male and the pseudo-gangster is the pseudo-gangster is pretending to be gangster, driving in a car, and you want you to believe they're gangster and want you to believe their friends are, any other friend above them is something heavy duty or whatever. But the pseudo-gangster beta male on the other, and they might be inclined, in some cases they got a bunch of their buddies or whatever, get out of the car and start with you or whatever. Occasionally, one of their buddies does get a gun and shoots somebody and goes to jail. If you laugh at him, you fracture their ego or whatever, you know what I mean? But the pseudo-gangster beta male is lower on the hierarchy. Unlike driving by in a car with the boom, 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 boom music, for wanting to get everybody and have all the domesticated people thinking, oh, there's gangster or something. No, the beta male pseudo-gangster is driving around in that kind of music, right? Won't get up and beat you up. He's acting like a badass. Mouthy, a lot of times mouthy and cocky as hell, you know what I mean? Everything you say is wrong. But he drives in a car with that kind of music, not because he's ever going to get out of a car and beat you up. He's driving with that look on his face with that music, like that. Instead of it being I'm gangsta, man. No, I'm in with his thing is I'm in with the gangsters. He's driving around the boom, boom, boom. You don't want to say just because every teenager driving by that's just being a hipster, just being a teenager, they're not all like this. You know what I'm saying? But you get the pseudo-gangster beta male shithead, a lot of them being white leftist or whatever, you know. I'm not even picking on anybody because of their race. Usually it's the white leftist kind of rip it on a little bit. They'll never beat you up. It's like they want you to believe that they're in with the gangsters. You know, the ones above that, like I just mentioned, thinking they got gangsters behind them. But, well, the beta male, lower one on here, he won't ever threaten to kick your butt. Little bit skinnier arms, wears accent dresses like they're perpetually 10 years old. But they're the ones that are the lower of the two kinds that trying to act like they're in with the gangsters. Like they'll get these other pseudo-gangsters after you, a bunch of their buddies, and you get an argument or anything too much with them in their path or around their path, and you ruffle their feathers, so to speak, fracture their ego. They'd be inclined to gaslight you as racist. A bunch of their buddies might want to look for you, the pseudo-gangsters, and start trouble. All of the parties, in a lot of cases, whatever hierarchies or whatever, depending on you live, they're the kind you don't want to completely antagonize. Even though the beta male, the type is more like an ankle biter, you know, that'll get their buddies after you. Anyway, the beta male ones are just as bad as the young girls, like, that are in the loser bar. They're almost like the girls, like, oh, I got myself a gangsta boyfriend. They're an equivalent to, if you want to talk about another lifestyle, that relative of yours that an aunt or something that got divorced from the husband and goes to a loser bar. She goes to a pseudo biker bar, not that people that go there, they're not even bikers, that they inflate it, you know, and they'll even get a bunch of tattoos. They're the equivalent, if you want to jump back and forth into just separately white people, another loser lifestyle, like they're equivalent to the woman that thinks that she goes to a loser bar, surrounds herself with pseudo badasses, maybe pseudo bikers that ain't even bikers, you know what I mean? The ones that drive around, beat up old cars, you know, those kind of the alcoholic losers, you know, dabble in drug use and want you to be scared because they think they got their own goon squad just because they hoe around in a loser bar with a bunch of guys. Well, you know, the female equivalent, jumping back to the pseudo-gangster beta male, and both of those I just mentioned, their girlfriends, when those teenage girlfriends grow up, they grow up to be on the other side of the tracks. If they don't get with the pseudo-gangster white guy, they vary in how they dress and tattoos, you know, different hierarchies, and they vary in desire or intention to get into a physical fight with you or get a hold of a gun or pull a fake gun at you or get their buddies, you know what I mean? But when their girlfriends grow up and get older, they become the barflies, whether they get with the the white pseudo-gangster or a bunch of black guys that don't matter. The black guy that cheats on their wife that's black. These ones would be the ones that the white chicks that cheat on that the certain guys that go to these loser bars, black or white, not picking on race, sneak and cheat on their wives with later. They go to these bars, but instead of the pseudo biker crowds, what I said that they're pretending to be, they be like hanging with these. Yeah, whether it's they pick the black guy or pick the pseudo gangster white guy, don't matter. They also think that they hang with or hoe themselves around with the loser bar types and that lifestyle, that they got their own goon squad if you live off to them. Yeah, a lot of you people watching probably got some relative like that, you know what I mean? Not picking on anybody because of their race here, you know. I'm just comparing to say maybe that better classes of black people you work next to, you know what I mean? That maybe smoke and drink a little bit, but they got a life, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the pseudo gangsta beta male is just at the same level as the girls. They're just like them, you know what I mean? And they're just like their teenage girl, younger. Yeah, the pseudo gangster and the pseudo gangsta beta male. They get in their 20s and 30s, still living in a room in mom and dad's house, and they're most likely to be caught like furnishing. They'll go to a loser bar, but they're most likely to be illegally furnishing liquor to their teenage girlfriends that were supposed to be going to school, and the parents are getting mad, you know what I mean? And the girl maybe goes to grandma or that aunt so-and-so's house that sticks up for them, and they're all drinking in the basement or sneaking when she's falling asleep with the TV, you know, and shit like that, you know. And get together and drink and smoke pot in a room in their parents' house and think they got the whole world by the balls, you know. The drunkenness or the being high, they're able to, while being stoned or high, they're all able to pretend, hide in a make-believe dream world that they got the whole world by the balls, but none of them ever got past being in a room in mom and dad's house. And it's not like any of them, maybe their friends that they look up to, the pseudo-gangsters, or they got their own places or something because they haven't got caught selling all the drugs yet. The ones they're looking up to are the ones that are selling them all the drugs, you know. There's some of the pseudo-gangster are selling the drugs of the pseudo-gangster beta male, and then they're both getting drugs from somebody that may have some real ties to somebody that's closer to being gangster, you know what I'm saying? And you can joke about them, but some of them fracture their ego. Like I said, they'll get their buddies and shoot you, whatever. And but even though they shoot somebody, a matter of time, they don't got the whole world by the balls. They all want you to be scared of them for one reason or the other. Whether it's driving by in a car, the boom, boom, boom music saying, I'm gangster and I got these gangsters behind me. Or the beta male type that, I'm in with the gangsters. I got gangsters behind me because I buy my pot from somebody that I want you to believe is a gangster. Or or their girlfriends, like I also mentioned too, can, when they get old enough to drink, they're known to drive mama and daddy's old red Honda Civic, you know, boom 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 music, pretending like it's their mom and dad's Honda Civic, but they acting like they're driving a sports car and shit, and they never got past being in a room in mom and dad's house. And a lot of them on the lower part of the hierarchy still working 2-3 days a week, you know, at some fast food joint that they hate, you know. Don't work 40 hours a week even though they could, because it interferes with their beer drinking and their pot smoking, and working for anything is an oppression. And they all, if they don't brag to people and act like they're selling all these drugs, some of them act like they are. They're buying drugs from the people that are selling the drugs, right? But then the ones lower on the hierarchy are try to scare or mortify the over domesticated crowds, or try to put on a front to you and me like that they're heavy duty, they're selling these drugs and they're involved with the drug selling gangster and they're buying pot from them, trying to be what they're not. And they'll get in their 20s, pushing 30, still living in parents' house. Then when they're damn near 30, 35, pushing 40, some of them see the light and see reality and get tired of it. Some will either become self-righteous, or some of them will be just bitter aging stoners. You know what I mean? Not picking on every single person, like I said, that not every single hipster. There's people that look like me right now that'll get older than me, you know, and get hair grayer and balder, and they become bitter, contemptful, aging stoners, alcoholics, or some of them get old enough that they quit drinking because they're forced to because of their health problems, their liver and all that, and still defend the lifestyle to the very... If they didn't... every single one of I mentioned, at some point in their life, they're going to lose their license and get DUI and get caught driving and on a suspended or revoked license multiple times or whatever the hell. All been in jail, act like they're all hard, or and say they're in jail because society and the police oppress them, and everybody that drives a nice car or has anything and has anybody that buys nice stuff, anybody that can afford to buy nice stuff and that spends more money on nice stuff than they can afford to spend on a bag of weed, they hate, and they're also oppressive, and they're regarded as some kind of selfish dicks or of some kind. They'll call you with a mixture of different kind of... They vary in the mixture of slang mixed with swear words that they use, or whatever the hell. I mean, some of them grow up, and like I said, you know, I'm not saying every single hipster that's just a teenager being a teenager, you know, is like this, but most of them, most of these morons, overgrown children, will not accept any older black music in any way, shape, or form. They won't accept any like of the old school R&B, you know, from way back, you know, like it says, that's a lot of it's considered oldies and all that. They have no appreciation whatsoever of it. It's considered, they got a lot of names for that. It can either be old man's music, or like that guy and like that young punk, white punk, and that couple of videos about Antifa I watched. You know, there'll be the ones that are white and call a black guy that they have the right to not like an Uncle Tom piece of shit or whatever too. You know, they're also the most inclined. They also have the everybody's racist but me attitude. Yeah, if you're the white leftist category of any of those, they're Mr. or Mrs. Everybody else is racist but me. Everybody is racist but me and my drinking and pot smoking buddies. That's what they think. And it's also an attitude of everybody's racist but me and my pot smoking buddies. And they'll tell you how to not be racist, and they'll also give you a list counting on their fingers, claiming that everybody is racist but them, tell you how not to be racist, right? But they'll have a list of black people, maybe black YouTubers that they don't like and they don't want you to like. They'll have a list of the very people that call everybody else racist are also the ones who have a list of certain black people that it's okay to not like. Almost like that Pumpkin the video about Antifa calling some black gentleman an Uncle Tom piece of shit, and he's almost ready to beat his ass. That video that I just put out that I didn't expect to get all these thousands of views, I put it up. If you got this far in this video, I posted up to show a handful of people, and it got more damn viral than anything. It got more views than any of my shit. More views than any of my own shit that I have on YouTube combined. Almost. Damn. I didn't plan that. But anyway, yeah, that's a little extra information for you, yeah. Yeah, it's the difference in the hierarchy when in this video is one says I'm gangsta and I got some higher gangstas got one says or acts like, or one thinks he's fooling anybody and acts like I'm gangsta and I got some other gangstas that got my back, man. And then the other one is a lower on the hierarchy up that thinks he's badass and wants you to. I'm in with the gangsters. I'm not gangster. I won't beat you up like these other ones, but I'll get somebody else to beat you up. That's why I drive by. When I drive by in my car with the boom, boom, boom music, that's what I want you to believe, you know. And they all think they're fooling somebody. And they're all like, when you drive by, when they drive by in a car, you don't look at them at all, not because you're supposed to be scared of them. You don't. They're the kind that you don't look at. You don't want to give them dirty looks, and you don't want to look at all like you're mortified, and you definitely don't want to act like you're impressed. You know, it's like you just talk to yourself. You look straight ahead. You're looking somewhere else with a cocky smirk or cocky look on your face. But like I said, you got this far in this video. The most common mistake a lot of these other older people, they stretch their neck and give dirty looks. Well, hell, when I was younger, you know, I used to. Whatever music I listened to, I was a little like that too. I was being a teenager, you know, but I listen to some stuff, but I keep it at a minimum. You know, I've outgrown trying to mortify my neighbors or other kind of people. You know what I mean? Hey, I outgrown that shit when I became that long-haired person that everybody hates that's buying nice stereos, that got money in his hand when he thought he was shit, when he got a good paying and when he acquired a good-paying warehouse job back in the day, and when people were pissed off about it, and I walked around with a smirk on his face, you know, I mean, that's, yeah, I could tell you a lot of stories there. Those were the days, you know, that I used to like to piss people off that way, you know, but that's a whole other story, yeah, And yeah, it's like, what a joke. Some people outgrow it, some people don't, and then you got all the rest of them, they're just teenagers being teenagers, or overgrown teenagers being overgrown teenagers. The other ones are just being hipsters, you know what I mean, harmless, I'm just saying, you know what I mean. But,